Customs and Border Protection reported that arrests at the southern border have already topped 1 million for the year, 1.8 million to be exact. That's higher than any full year of border arrests since 2005, and we're only 7 months in here in 2021. Let's bring in two sitting members of Congress from the border state of Texas, Pete Sessions and Brian Babin. Good afternoon to you both. Congressman Babin, I want to start with you. 6 months in, it is clear that this notion of reversing any and everything that President Trump has done on the southern border has been an unmitigated disaster. Over 40,000 gotaways a month, people evading capture, destination unknown within these United States, coming to a town near you. How do we make sure that we fix this problem now, and I mean right now?
Well, the only way we're going to fix this thing right now is to persuade this Biden administration to quit reversing all the great policies that were developed by the Trump administration when they had their trials in 2019. They came up with some great policies.
We have an administration that won't even acknowledge we have a problem on the southern border. We had a vice president who was put in charge of the border crisis, didn't even want to go see it with her own eyes. At some point, we have to recognize that pretending a problem doesn't exist doesn't actually mean that it stops affecting us. In fact, the outcomes and the actual impact only gets worse.
There's no question about that, Joe. Quite frankly, when last time Pete Sessions and I were down at the border, and I'm the co-chairman of the House Border Security Caucus, and we've led several groups down there. But the last time Mr. Sessions and I were down there, we actually invited the vice president to come with us, and yet it took her nearly 100 days to finally get down there and just go. In fact, she went hundreds of miles to the west of where the real problem is. She went out to El Paso and had a photo op. But I can tell you the de facto controller of our southern border today is not our border authorities. It is not the Biden administration. It is the cartels. They are absolutely in control, and we are seeing and reaping the whirlwind of what we've sown here and what the Biden administration has done in our education systems, financially, what this is costing the American taxpayer billions of dollars, and in the drugs that are coming across. As you said, fentanyl is up way up over what it was a year ago, and we have jumped from 70,000 Americans dying of overdoses per year now to 92,000 dying last year of drug overdoses, and most of that is coming across our border. And then the criminal element, as we are the apprehension of criminal aliens coming across the border up over 1,000%. Couple that with the insane policies of defund the police that the Democrats are coming up with, and you have a crime wave of the magnitude we haven't seen in many, many years here in our great country. And if we don't get a handle on this, if we don't get some kind of control on this border, we're going to lose this great democratic republic that we all know and love. And yet, the Democrats seem to have a plan up their sleeve, a grand strategy that they want to replace the American electorate with their own electorate that they're going to bring in across the southern border. And I think it's no secret. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out, because they're putting the federal government, the executive branch of our federal government, into full mode, on a war footing, if you will, to try to legitimize, enfranchise, and grant amnesty to these people that are coming in so they can vote.
All right, Congressman Sessions, I want to give you the last word here, because in many ways we talk about the border crisis, we talk about the humanitarian crisis, the fact that we've got women being abused, the fact that these bad policies are actually hurting the people they claim, Democrats claim they want to help. But lost in all of this, we forget it was less than 20 souls who brought this nation to its knees on 9/11. That's all it took. The terrorists have to get it right one time. We have to get it right every single day. You look now in a 2021 One America, we've had over nearly 300,000 gotaways, people who are in this country illegally that we know evaded capture, and we have no idea who they are or what their intentions are. Talk to us about the national security interest that we have here on making sure that we have control over our sovereignty, control over the safety and security of our border.
Well, in fact, Joe, you've hit the really crux of it. It is a national security issue. It's a national security issue, and all, Joe, you have to do is watch Newsmax, and you will see the story playing out directly at the border as literally they have tens of thousands of people waiting to come across. Coming across, we had a large group of people from Africa that just came across during the week that we saw on Newsmax. It continues. The national security element is directly related to two things. It's related to terrorist attacks that would take place on our country, but perhaps even worse, in every single community where they will bring drugs to poison our children, to murder, because it is murder when you use fentanyl, that is a product that will cause death, and destruction across this country. It is something that the Democratic Party personally is in favor of, and you cannot hear any voices except one, and that is Henry Cuellar. And Henry Cuellar sees what is happening to his, not just town of Laredo, but to Texas and this country, and we will not stop talking about this. As the ranking member on government reform, my subcommittee is responsible for the border. We've counted on people like Dr. Babin, who is responsible for gathering other members not on the committee who would want to come and pay attention. We will not let this go. It is a national security problem, and the effect is now we see COVID and tens of thousands of people dying across this country. It is a sad, sad day for the country.
All right, Congressman Brian Babin, Congressman Pete Sessions, we appreciate you. God bless. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Joe. God bless.